Welcome back to Chaparral. This is our October issue entitled Guild Haunts. We are here with Terry Flexser, CSEA President. Hi, Terry. How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Always doing great. As we kind of come into the last of this October, we are reflecting upon our fears. And I think one thing a lot of folks want to know, especially those who are not particularly active in the union at this time, is maybe what are three things that stop people from being active in terms of those fears and anxieties around joining a union?
hmm I think there are a few fears, and I don't know if they're necessarily fears or more just apprehensions. A lot of our members are from a family group, so there's always that fear that participation in the union might dig into or keep them away from their family, say either after work or on the weekends, or it might just take a lot of their time that they're not used to having to spend on something else other than their job. The other things that I think people fear when it comes to either joining or participating in a union is I do know everyone has different political beliefs, but our union, CSEA, all of your dues for CSEA go directly towards our CSEA workers. So our labor reps, senior labor reps, site reps, things like that. So your union dues only go towards your union, benefiting your union, no political action taken with that money. We do have a special thing called the Victory Club that you can donate money to, and that does go towards political donations. But as for your dues for joining the union, those stay within the union only, and those are only used for purposes of, say, salaries for those that help us out when it comes to either negotiations or even just getting together, like the annual conference that we have each summer. It goes towards that. The other apprehension, I think, is a lot of people, I've heard this, I've worked at several different districts, and some workers at other districts used to believe that involvement in the union kind of hindered either their growth at their current job, because people believed management and CSEA should always be at odds with each other, and that could kind of hinder how management sees you as an employee. But from my experience here working at Glendale, I really have not seen an employer more active in getting CSEA participation. Glendale and the management, especially Dr. Grice now, really does push hard for CSEA and CSEA members. So it's really nice to see that the encouragement of either your department manager allowing you to, say, participate in shared governance, or even if you aren't participating as a voting member, you can always join those shared governances. And I've really noticed that a lot of the management or supervisors really try to make everything work and allow the most participation of their employees in the union. So I think those are three fears that a lot of employees might have, either new to public entity or new to entity that has unions that you can actually join.
Yeah, so you kind of hit a little bit on them. So this idea of like, so people, not having the time, feeling like they're like not in a space where they can contribute, the political sphere being, something that people honestly struggle to even discuss, but also participate in, and how the unions are kind of situated in that, or how they think they are, right? Because you said it's a lot of like not being sure.
Mhm.
And then again, possibly some retribution, which again, the district overall seems very supportive about unions in general.
Yes.
Dr. Brittany Grice, the HRVP, also being very supportive of y'all at C. So with those three things in mind, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but so how can people kind of maybe face that fear and kind of overcome some of these things, especially the unknown? I think that's a big thing when you're coming in, like I am, completely new to a union for the first time.
Mhm. I think one of the big things is just kind of learning about the union, either on the guild side or even with CSEA. We are coming up on our 100th year of being a union. I believe it was 1927. The custodians up in Oakland formed CSEA to really get a actual pension for retirement created for them. So just learning about the history and what unions have done for this country over the last couple hundred years, that always eases my mind. The more knowledge you have about something, the better decisions you're able to make. Secondly, we always have our second VP right now. It's RP Amirian, sending out notifications of empty governance seats. And it's being part of a California community college. We kind of have a special interaction between Guild, CSEA, and management, in that we have a pretty robust shared governance. And with that shared governance, CSEA members can either take an active role by wanting to be a voting member of these committees whenever a position opens up, or you are always welcome. All of our committees are open. I believe all of the standing committees are open, and you can always join just as a visitor and see what the process is, and kind of see how decisions are either made or forwarded to those by the committees to those people at the district that make decisions. And the last thing that people can do to get involved is actually right now it's very pertinent. Last October, so this month, and then next month's chapter meeting, we have been holding our nominations for officers. So one of the biggest things you can do is become a officer at the CSEA Chapter 76 level, and kind of participate in that way by being part of the executive team. We always have events, and we are actually coming back more and more on campus holding events. So with that, we always have a need for additional volunteers, setting up, serving, or tearing down after the event. But I would just say, if you have a wish to get involved, one, download the Blue Book from GCC website, and you can see the dates and times that most of the committees meet. Feel free to join as a visitor. And then also, if you want to be even more involved, feel free to ask a friend or nominate yourself at this upcoming November chapter meeting if you want to get involved at the officer level.
Okay. Yeah. All those things sound very critical. I know we have so many also people that are just around. Like you said, C has been around a really long time. A lot of the other unions on campus have been around a good long time at this point. And so there's always that history to learn around labor. If you're, especially if you're, I think, like you said, tentative about joining because of political action, you can kind of see the ebbs and flows of what those things look like in our democratic environment, and the impact unions have on political action. But recognizing that C has its own political arm, the Victory Club. And so that's a thing you can get into if you're into it. If not, don't worry about it, right?
Yes. Yes.
But mostly the idea of shared governance, becoming a voting member, being active, reading ARPI's emails, very important to, I know email culture is what it is at all academic campuses. It can be a lot of information, but it's critical to read those emails from the union and from C. And then I love this idea. I don't think anyone's ever said just come to meetings as a visitor. I feel like we talk about a lot of active engagement. And like you said, people get very not scared, but definitely intimidated about being a member. Like, oh my God, I'm a member now. I have to like commit and do something, right? But you can just show up. And then, yeah, exec team nominations and elections are upcoming. So that's a really good plug now to look into those folks, even talk to some people that you know are interested in running. It's nothing like hearing someone's kind of vision for their position straight from them, which is why we do these Chaparral columns. We thank Terry, as always, for his contributing to Chaparral. We hope you will stick around for our next issue come November. But as it stands now, look for those elections and read ARPI's emails.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.